Last place, Team Liquid. Despite looking strong in that first game, they've struggled to find consistency and strong engage, and they're having trouble adapting right now without Freeze. So we're seeing these roster changes hit teams pretty hard in the early weeks.
Yeah, teams are denying the Kalista pick from Renegades now, and Remy is the only person on the team drafting for initiation.
Right.
So if Renegades want to show that they are contenders in this league, they're going to need to show that they can succeed with more than just one play style of having this support be responsible for the engage. But of these teams, you know, we do know that they're both hungry for a win, and Renegades should have a lot more team synergy heading into this game. If they can capitalize on that advantage and shore up their weaknesses, they could take a victory here and start the week off, or end the week in a good place at 2-2.
That's right. Well, let's see what Crumbs has to say about their matchup with Team Impulse.
I think that we'll do well against Impulse. I think that they're not to be underestimated, though. A lot of people consider them to be the worst team in the LCS, but I still think that they're definitely worth preparing and trying just as hard as you would. I don't see why you wouldn't do that. So I think that if we focus and really stick to what we think is the best way of playing the game, we should be able to beat them.
This is why we invest into bass for Crumbs' voice. It just booms throughout the studio. I love it. I love every time we have a shot from that guy. And
Bass and beard, two great things to have. So let's check out the starting lineups as we get into this game. It's going to be Renegades on the blue side. In the top lane, it is RF Legendary. Filing around in the jungle, it's going to be Crumbs with Alex each in the mid lane, playing strong, playing hard from that mid. We'll see what he can provide today. LOD, Lod at AD carry, and as always, Remy on support, trying to help the team make plays with Coach Hermes right behind him.
And on the red side, suitably, it is Team Impulse. In the top lane, it's the man who basically mains Phil at this point. It's Gate. In the jungle, we have the new guy coming over, Proxen. Joining him as well is Pyrene in the mid lane as another newcomer.
Yep.
And then Mash at AD carry, responsible for the shot calling, with Ken on support backing him up. And behind the entire team is Coach Jason.
That's right. We saw Mash actually have quite a good game the other day. And I think this is like the final form of Mash. We had Don't Mash Me, we had Mash Me, and now we just have Mash. I wonder if it can go any, like Ma, like next season or something. I don't know. Don't give away his secret names. But he actually had quite a good game. His Lucian was 7-1 and 13. Obviously, the rest of the team was helping him to get some good plays in, but we saw definitely a little bit of life from from Tip yesterday in Cloud9. Now up against Renegades. We'll see what they could do. Renegades coming off the 2 losses from Energy and Dignitas recently.
The Dignitas loss for Renegades was a very rough one. Lob substitute caught out in that last fight by Shifter, and then followed up by Kiwi Kid. So he ended up being one of the reasons that they lost the game. He needs to be able to shake that off and come into today with a clear head.
Looking at Vance to start, we once again see Remy focused right off the bat with Thresh being banned away by Tip. Flex picks taken out here in Lulu and Lissandra as well, so Tip's not looking to get any funny business out of these lanes. The Tom Kench, just get the flex out of there. That's basically what they're saying all around the board.
Thresh targeted over at Remy and the Lucian ban. Ooh. Okay, taking away some power from Mash, but this is going to leave Graves, Gangplank, Rise, a lot of things open right now. Very curious to see what they ban. It's most likely Gangplank. But we will see.
It's interesting that they hit that hard towards Mash, just with his Lucian. And the Graves does get taken out, so actually 2 AD carries getting hit here. We'll see the likes of Caitlyn coming out this game for sure. But what will be the first pick here? RF Legendary discussing with the rest of the team what will happen. Definitely a strong first pick, I was going to say. Gangplank has been left open. That will be good. They have that initiation if they want it. Alistar is also still up. Would be a very big pick if Tip does not grab that for Ken.
Yeah, this was what was denied from Renegades in that last match, and it made all the difference too. So Kalista going over, Lod's going to play it. He's going to be able to enable Remy to make plays, but then they give up Gangplank and Alistar for that. So they give up a playmaker or a hard engaged champion that you'd love to have alongside this Kalista, but then this is also, Gangplank is a flex pick. He can be top, he can be a mid laner. We've seen him succeed in both roles. And I want to see what Gate does with this, because Gate, not typically a top laner, but if he does play pretty much the same champions in both roles in solo queue, I mean,
that's true.
I'd love to have him on my dynamic queue squad.
Well, when you main Phil, you usually have a pretty big champion pool, and you're like average at a lot of champions, which is still better than most.
Yeah, we promote Phil. You go to dynamic queue, you go straight down to the bottom, the big one there.
Phil.
Helping my team out.
Do it.
He joined the LCS. His role position. It's like, what do you play?
Check,
Gate.
check.
He's the
check.
first one.
Everything.
He's just I guess maybe he's not the first one. High as well.
That's
Following
true.
his footsteps.
Just about every spot you can think of. And it is going to be Morgana, actually.
All right. So Morgana is quite good alongside the Kalista. You stop people from locking her up, and she's very mobile. But then you also give a way to get the W off in lane. You aren't that melee support like an Alistar that has to commit to a headbutt to get the other half of the percent HP from Kalista off. So Morgana is able to just auto-attack and do a good job in the lane with Kalista. Also throwing him in is good too.
She was going for the flash bindings last game. Now Revy can get thrown in for the binding. And flash forward if she wants to.
It's true.
Clear the map and get that binding out. Corki will be picked up by Mash. See that taken away from Lod this time. Like we said, he didn't have too good of a go on Corki last game versus Dig for Renegades of 0-2-5. And this will be Mash's first Corki of this season. Kindred, Lucian for him.
Yeah. We do have some room for flex picks here, though. There could be a Gangplank top, and then we have Corki as a mid laner. So Corki can be a mid laner.
You are correct.
Or AD carry. You can also have that Gangplank top or mid. And then this last pick, they'll use it for counter pick here, and then rearrange their team accordingly. What's it going to be?
That is such a nice way to be able to flex Corki right now. And he's so powerful mid lane, too.
Yeah.
So powerful if you use him as an AD carry.
Oh.
There's still high priority mid laners there to be grabbed.
And it's a great mix of damage already. You have two poking champions, one who has wave clear on TIP's side with the Corki, and then you have a physical damage dealer because Corki is mostly magic damage now. Slight majority for him, actually a large majority now, but the Gangplank gives the physical damage. It's hard to itemize against this team. And that's going to be the last lock-ins there.
Going to have to be a lot of communication within these fights now. They picked up the Shen. Could be some cross-map plays coming in. Double TP for RF Legendary there to make back and forth plays if they need to.
Yeah. And this gives them more pick potential too. They have the Elise combined with the Ahri. This is a classic pick mid-jungle synergy type comp here. So what you have is Alex Each is going to be trying to synergize with Crumbs. They're going to try to invade. They're going to try to make these picks from Fog of War. And they're going to, it's kind of the team comp that actually beat them yesterday when you had the, oh sorry, no, that was, wait, was it Dig? Yeah, Dig played the Ahri into them,
right?
And they got caught from Fog of War. Sorry, I was looking down, and it's what they picked. It's not what the enemy picked.
The stats are confusing.
I haven't used them in a long time. But no,
you're right.
So yeah. But yes, that's going to be the Varus there. Okay, so this is a poke comp. So they went full poke here, and now they have a full range with 2 physical damage dealers, 2 magic damage dealers, and a peeler. This is intense. This is a lot to commit to that poke pattern. But Renegades, they have pretty much hard engage here on multiple champions. You can get in there with the Kalista if you land a binding and you get the pick. All of these champions are squishy. A charm on anybody is a good charm.
It's charm, cocoon, binding, a lot of scary things that this poke team over here on the side of Impulse is going to have to be dodging around as they get themselves into the right position for these fights. 1 and 2 are what both teams are looking at right now, trying to get themselves in a better spot here in 2 and 2 on the day. Coach Hermes and Jason, one last good luck, and they head off as they have given the final words to their players. We saw a lot of communication between Jason and their new jungler on that side as well of Impulse, of Proxen. So we'll see if that communication helps, the confidence, and they're all settled down to get into this game. Game 5 of the day, week 2. We're going to end it off with this one. Tweet at LOL Esports with the hashtag RENWin or hashtag TIPWin to let us know who you think will take the game. The final one of week 2. We've had the team spread out a little bit. We have an undefeated team, a lot of teams making up the middle of the pack. And now for our final game of the day, who's going to be that last 2 and 2 team to make it into the middle? Is it going to be Renegades or Tip? We are on the Rift.
Yeah, you want to be in that 2 and 2 pack so that when the next week starts up, you can start breaking away from it. You don't want to start off 1-3 and have to overcome those guys who are just going to get a little bit further ahead of you because of their matchups. So TIP, this is the match where they start making a statement because this is the most of their starters in the right position that we've seen all season long. They have 3 people. And they also have Gate, but he will be playing off-role this game.
Is there a role he will ever play on?
That is the question. Originally mid laner, moved to support, and moved to top, pretty much out of necessity. But I'm always interested in his performance. See how consistent he is in his roles.
Just safe words for the line of scrimmage to start off this one. Getting the blood going. These guys have been watching other games. They're ready to play. Head's not in the game just yet. Making sure they're in the right spot to start this one off. Does not look like we'll get a lane swap. We actually haven't had too many lately, or I should say this week. It's been more of these standard lanes as teams really figure themselves out or have sub-squads in and just make things that much easier for themselves here in the early game where something can go really wrong.
Yeah. I think that both teams are slightly confident in their matchups here. Mash alongside Ken with the core key Alistar. You're going to be able to wave clear okay with the Phosphorus Bomb at the start, and you'll most likely be the lane that pushes out and gets to level 2 early. And then Lod Remy, depending on how Remy starts, looks like it's binding there as well. Won't assist with the wave clear, but we'll try to zone them out and make a pick early on and threaten the level 2. So if you can chunk somebody out, you'll be able to grab it for yourself. So both members of the bottom lane here, both squads of the bottom lane, have ways to get that advantage over the other.
Minions tied up in that bot lane 3-3 as they're being pushed back and forth. And Remy takes the Phos Bomb tag there, but it looks like Lod actually wants to get in for a few fights.
And he trades good. Trades really well.
Knows exactly when to get the last hits in here. Ken may not have that pulverize or headbutt ready, so they can easily get a little bit closer each time. And with that, they get level 2 and actually get a little bit of aggression on the lane.
All right,
Nothing they can use though. Impulse hits 2 exactly right after.
Yeah, but Ken, he does have the headbutt pulverize combo.
So he did take.
Didn't
have
take
time to
heal.
click him.
And so they have the threat in this lane. They have the ability to combo. Look over at what Remy has. Remy, no black shield just yet. Get that at level 3.
Also take note of some more summoner spells. Cleanse on Pyrene in the mid lane. More ignites here on the side of Renegades, especially with Remy. And then exhaust on Ken. So there's that kill pressure if they do get a good binding in the bot lane.
Yep. Like the cleanse on Pyrene. Make sure that he's able to get out of any of the picks that come by him. But talk about that in a second, because one of the first picks of the game. He's main spill. Leave him alone.
Just eat an orange, it'll be K. Nice timing on that crowd control. Just kind of not overlapping them, but one after the other as the orange was used.
Yeah, they got him right afterwards. So flash from Gate gets rid of some of the pressure on that lane. And when Shen is okay to have a lane where he's just getting the farm, he's sustaining, you're giving him some help, that's a great lane for Shen. Shen just wants to get through that little bit of an early game. Oh my god, Crumbs. He's coming back.
Really? Teleported right back to the middle of the lane. Here's the cocoon that's going to come in. I was thinking maybe he could try to cut the ward vision, but then he figured, probably should have gone for it, and he's going to head back to his own jungle. So Gate keeps himself safe, even though he plays this one aggressive right off the bat.
Yeah, RF, you're sitting there going, why didn't he follow that up? Why didn't he come to Crumbs? Well, there's this gigantic minion wave here. He's going to miss out on all of this underneath the turret. And also, you become very suspect when you leave a large minion wave like this to go run down the river, and it kind of gives away the game. But Proxen, since he got information that Crumbs is on the top side, he's actually going to be able to pick up his red buff here.
Wow. Also a very early pink ward from Gate, walking all the way down from top lane to put in Pixel Brush. Knowing that Crumbs is on that. A ping as well. I think that ping was from RF Legendary. Whoever it was a very good call. See the few more Thunderlords this time. All right.
We can dream, though.
We can dream.
Just remember that previous one. It was so nice. It actually looked really
great.
good. It looked really good. But
Proxen, he's already marked the ward, so he knows he's been seen here, but they're still going to try to go for it hard.
Gotta be careful.
Ren keeps Lod back. That's going to be Crumbs in the bot lane, and Flash for Flash on either side there to try to get in the right spot. Exhaust has already been used, so they could be in a bad spot if they can't get Ken out. They do so in just enough range so he doesn't get found back in.
Wow.
Back and forth, the teleport was used from top lane, but that leaves Gate now to start farming up.
Yeah, and Gate had no TP because he previously got pushed out, had to TP back in to keep a farm advantage, and now he's just going to grow a little bit bigger one.
Don't you like when that works in your favor?
Oh, yeah.
The bot lane can stay safe, and everybody's hearing the calls.
Yep.
Feels good.
Yeah, and they do stay safe in that bottom lane despite... Oh, whoa!
You were talking about the chains, Irene, and it gives Ken just a little bit. Remy's going to be the one going down here.
Proxen.
And they actually miss it, but still come up big as Renegades think they had the upper hand after the miss.
Proxen, though, just continues to go back to the scene of the crime. I loved his dodge of the Cocoon there. The Cocoon previously in that last fight He just flashed it pretty much at the last second. It looked like it was in his model. It's so fast, too, because it was right after he leaped forward, so.
Those are things that also throw your opponents off as well.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're in the mindset that they're taking steps forward, this is going to hit. And then you're out of position once you realize they flashed out. We did see a kill go down onto Remy in the last engage. And that first blood went over to Proxen, so great first game for the sub.
Yeah, and they're already 1,000 gold up on the TIP side. Gangplank's going to get a little bit extra gold. He does have that CS advantage, too. But MASH has one over Laud, and then Pyrene's a little bit behind now. Gold just being 1,000 up with 1 kill is a good spot for TIP to be in. And TIP, if they pick up some wins with the squad in this shape, when they throw Gate down to support and they get their starter back in the top lane, what is this team going to look like when everybody's here?
We'll have to wait to find out.
Yeah. But it's a question that nobody can answer.
That's true. We've actually seen him in quite a versatile position before, so we know it might not affect Gate as much, but we have to see the full result of what the team can do. Ken right now doing some janitorial duty on the wards around the river, making sure he cleans those up and make sure Proxen still has clean paths to get in and out of his jungle ganks. Makes MASH safe in the bot lane. Renegades actually not even trying to go hard there or zone MASH off of any type of CS.
Oh, ulti.
Just waiting for it. Alex charms to the left, has the spear rush to get out and chooses his targets perfectly and really didn't even need that from RF Legendary, but they're playing it safe.
Just in case. But Gate, once again, he's going to start getting a little bit more CS. He's going to get back to that lead because it started to close a little bit. But yeah.
Great idea to throw that charm out to the left.
Yes. Throwing it after Proxen because he was going to be the burst of damage that came out because Pyrene had already used the majority of his. So it was good target prioritization there.
Towards the bot side. Enough resources to take this out. We should see Ken go over the wall here. Might throw a ward down in the brush. Actually, it's going to be over the wall as well. Make sure they don't come in for any ganks. Wards, or lane rather, is not being pushed in the bot lane, so Tip knows they're not in danger of any type of huge push. But they are pinging out Crumbs. Look, he can't decide what he really wants to do. Scuttle Crab for now.
Yeah, Crumbs usually plays the vision game. Proxen's actually got a very good mechanically sound Nidalee here. He's going after the blue buff, based off of timers and based off of when Crumbs
and that helps him even more.
Showed himself. Boom. Yeah, he's had good spears. He's also had really good combos where he changes forms, auto change form, auto Q, and then he was Wing away immediately after. So it was a really, really smooth transition. It's pretty good.
Crumbs is playing with fire right now. He's going to go down. He's got to drop, and he's got to get hit. A missed spear, but still the kill. That's going to go to Gate in the top lane for his troubles of having a free lane all game.
I didn't notice it went over to Gate. Yep. Got it with that ultimate, but that's pretty much where you want it right now. Giving it over to Proxen, it could be a good investment, but I definitely think that this gold on the Gangplank is huge. And Crumbs, he's just going to get his entire jungle taken away from him now.
I don't think he was expecting Proxen to do that much damage at that point.
Proxen's an unknown factor, too.
Yep.
Proxen, we haven't seen much of. He did play for Zenix Storm, and he did play in the Japanese league. Looks like Detonation Focus. And he actually didn't play that many games for them either.
Well, it doesn't. It seems like he kind of has what I'll call like a Niels mentality, where the situation just doesn't bother him. However big they're playing against, or the players are playing against star power, it just doesn't bother him. And it seems like he's kind of coming in with that game. I'm up against Crumbs, that's fine. I'll counter jump with Crumbs. The guy who usually has a ton of vision, the guy who's ready for any of that.
Crumbs. Oh, speaking of Crumbs.
And there it is.
There.
But he's got to be aware of Crumbs also.
There's the combo.
Not given a care in the world.
That's the Charm Cocoon combo. It's actually quite a classic combination in the mid lane. When this is kind of how Renegades made it out of the Challenger Series with the Alex Siege Crumbs combination, is they were very dominant in the mid lane. They always played around this section of the map, and then that's how Crumbs would establish vision in other parts. Kill the mid laner, you open up the entire map.
See now, Proxen has a shorter fuse. If he goes off the handle and he starts going crazy on this Nidalee, because I'm sure he's not happy about losing the blue buff that he practically just stole from Crumbs, got the kill, and now loses his own. 11 minutes coming up on the clock. Bot lane 89 to 88 in CS. Very, very even in levels and in that CS. So it doesn't look like too many people are going to get a big play here. Buys for Pyrene in the mid lane. That's serrated Dirk as he charges up his tier. You're still doing good damage. That's the thing I love about Varus. You know, you may be charging and waiting for a tier, but you're still able to put out TPS.
The flat armor penetration is definitely going to help
Yep.
him. Alex Each with the early Frost Queen's Flame Rush. Pretty typical. But it's going to help him make picks, and that's what this comp is about. Landing that Cocoon, landing that Charm, landing the Binding. If you land one, the other two are going to follow up, and that person is pretty much dead. Just need the first one to land.
I like the way Alex is moving, obviously off the minions. Make sure there's no damage and that wave is pushing in. Now they can go down towards the dragon. I don't think Alex is going to have too much pressure here with the pick board just on his shoulders. So, Impulse. Good move towards the mid lane. Don't really have to call too many people around. Gate still hanging out on top with a 13 CS lead. And that kill is going to definitely give him an item completion lead in a few minutes here.
Yeah.
Not far off that Triforce, though.
That's true.
That stinks to go up.
Going for that Triforce first. We do see Mash back. He picks up the package. It's ready after 8 minutes.
Got it.
And he's ready. It doesn't look like he's going to go straight down bottom. Looks like he's going to split the lane. Make sure that he can actually figure out if there's a gank opportunity top or mid. Go for mid. If there's one bottom, maybe go for that. He's definitely hanging out, though.
Yeah, he's hovering. He looks like he wants to fly over and take out Lod. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, 2 level 8s stare down this level 9 Pyrene. But he knows Remy's just on the other side. A lot of resources giving vision.
After they saw Remy mid, go dive bottom. There they go.
The flies over, Mash goes in with a Valk, misses the first one, takes a turret shot, gets the rend in, and this is going to be Lod having a real bad time, but RF Legendary says, I got your back, don't worry about it. And almost a messed up play by Impulse.
Now they got the flash out of Lod very early on. I'm surprised they didn't follow, but Proxy with the follow-up spear doesn't decide to commit to it. A little too risky for him.
All right, so now all game Legendary, or RF I should say, has to be on this bottom lane. Gate is just having a field day up here by himself and has hardly seen any pressure other than the first Crumbs gank. Blue is flash, he has that back up now, and that was never punished.
Yep. Oh, here comes Crumbs though. Second Crumbs gank, I guess third actually, for this top lane.
Right.
See what happens, because he doesn't have help yet.
All right. He's like, okay, I think I can stand toe-to-toe. All right, maybe not. I can't stand toe-to-toe. Don't go too far from the barrel. He's looking to put a new one out. He didn't have one charged up, and this does not look good for Gate. It looks like he's opening his own at this point, and he is going to take that hit. The Spiderlings get to him. Oh! There it is. It's going to be Lod. They were just toying with it. He was playing with his food to give the kill to Lod. That was actually...
Proxen died as well.
Nice little dancey dance, and he did go down.
Yeah, Proxen died on the opposite side of the map. I guess in the mid lane, they caught him out.
We'll get that replay in just a second as they take down top turret. So it looks like Renegades, with a bit of the macro movement here, starts to pay off. They leave bottom lane just outright as it was even. Like we said, there was really no level lead. We'll see how Proxen dies right here.
Sometimes you aren't looking. You're just watching top and watching the
Whoa!
There. Whoa!
Woo! Fast fingers to save Alex Each's life.
Yeah.
Also, a miss on that charm could have made that a little bit easier.
Yeah, 2 flashes, though. We get Alex's and RF's. RF now has no globals available to him, as well as summoner spells. And Gate about to have both of his up.
Crumbs.
All right. He's fast.
That'll do.
Okay. How fast is he?
How fast is he?
431.
That people want to know.
As soon as he gets a dead man's plate, it actually gets quite ridiculous.
Yeah.
The runic echoes on Elise is incredibly scary. She zooms around and
we just saw that against
run.
Gate, really. Gate tried to stand toe-to-toe with him.
Oh, yeah.
That was eating him up.
The runic echoes is quite strong. And the Elise early game, it's no joke.
A lot of strength and core items being built here. A little bit of a power spike for Impulse. 2 Triforces now on the board. We'll see if they can get to using them.
Yeah, hit those power spikes, and you can see they swapped the lanes.
Yep.
Gate has his TP available. RF doesn't have his ulti just yet.
It's close.
Gate's going to look for a brawl here.
Very close.
Here's Crumbs.
There's the TP. That's one. These cocoons, they are hitting one after the other, along with the Shen taunt. Picture perfect. Both times they've tried to do it. Those guys working together very well. Gets a few minions, which kind of helps the range that pop up there. Remy is going to take some damage. A nice binding. Kind of collapse that CC on top of each other. It may allow Ken to get out alive here. They're still trying to focus him, and he's Forced to turn back, hopefully giving Mash an escape. Mash goes forward for the kill. Tries for a valiant takedown, but goes down himself too quickly before he can pick it up.
It's a admirable effort.
Yeah.
But he ends up getting nothing, and Renegades, they get a lot off of that play. 2 kills, and then they get this bot lane turret as well. This is why Crumbs has the Rift Herald buff. All right, take this turret, split push.
Who would have thunk it? Elise, go split push.
She has an attack speed increase. She's got spiderlings too.
It's true. Frenzy out.
Not awful at it.
So, all right, I thought he was trying to jump over. He was cleaning up. So let's see this one more time. A nice binding here actually by Remy. She kind of hooks it. Oh, she didn't get her off the menu. He didn't move yet. And there he gets locked up nicely.
That was a nice ultimate from Remy because it made Mash have to commit a little bit more to it, take a few steps forward, right? So he's not off to the right of this fight when Alex shows up.
Lod's jump there. Had it been any other direction, really, right would have put him in the Foss, back would have still put him in the Foss bomb. Left was the only choice, and he made it. So Lod doing well on this Callista, something that we have seen banned away numerous times here in the 2 weeks we've seen the Team Renegades play. But now it seems really to help them get those small engages they want. Have that play again and they don't get anything on the way out. That's damage for the turret. Impulse can just come back to later.
Yeah, we've seen teams ban out Thresh and Alistar against Renegades, but it seems like Callista is the value pick,
key point there.
right? Is the value one that they love, because no matter what Remy plays, Callista is going to enable her to make those plays. Whether it's Morgana, Alistar, Thresh, you ban all 3 of those are your bans. You're done.
A little bit of love for Ken here. The ultimates will make them just that. Love taps coming from Renegades.
Oh.
But he flashes over for Remy. A very unexpected play for her. And as you can see, she didn't expect it. Goes down. That flash played from Ken. He's already got those lucidity distortions on, so he's looking to do that over and over again with the follow-up pick from the team. I should say poke from the team.
Yeah, exactly. They have so much poke and so much sieging potential here. And the great thing about Varus is that it's not just poke, it's wave clear as well. So they don't have any lack of wave clear here between Mash and Pyrene.
So a lot of Varus last season. Maybe getting a little bit more playtime now. We've seen him twice today already.
Yeah, I think it's the Varus Corki combination. Because they both have wave clear. They're mixed damage, so it's hard to build against them. Just the ranges of
also so many good stacking slows. Although one of the most missed ultimates in the game, Chain of Corruption. When you get that along with a Gangplank as well, Alistar being able to get into that slowed team of crowd control and do whatever he wants. His composition really working nicely here for Impulse once they get into the right spot. Renegades, though, still feel like they are on the up and up here, and they have the upper hand on the game. However, can't get through that wave clear you were just talking about. So it might take a little bit longer to get these turrets than they would like.
Nash going for sideways farm, trying to keep his numbers up because they are quite high in comparison to Lod, the new guy on the squad of Renegades. It's about 40 CS up at this moment. So Nash, quite ahead of the curve. But it's equalized by those kills, so he's not actually that far ahead. It's just kind of
it's like 100 gold, not even 20 gold.
Yeah.
Right there, you see it. Good pressure by Renegades here in the mid lane. They should be able to easily take this one down. Impulse maybe looking for a mistake, but still no engage. We see Gate in the bot lane. His ult is up. Just farming away cleanly. He just picked up a BF sword for himself, so getting that much stronger. It's the thing, like, when you don't see Gate participate in a fight for a long time, and then he comes in and he's going to blast your health away with one barrel, that's when Gangplanks are scary. When you're taking him down, as we saw before, another game where we actually see Gangplank today, our second one, he wasn't that much of a problem in the earlier game.
Yeah, he's pretty much going to scale up no matter what. Gets extra gold to help him through the mid-game power spike. Get to that late game. Looks like he's going for the essence. We were looking for the CDR Gangplank build.
Yeah.
You typically go for that, and then get an IE on top of it. Make sure that you are able to parlay as much as possible. Also, the barrel cooldown gets quite annoying later game when you want to throw out so many of them. You just need barrels all the time to try and poke, to try and chunk people out when they're on an objective, and then people get better about killing them because their health goes down so fast. So
barrels are always super fascinating to watch too, because each player will use them a little bit differently. Like there's always the hide one in a brush or hide one somewhere and use, but when you use 2 or 3 and then a consecutive fight, you don't think you have enough range or time. It's really awesome to see. Definitely a high skill cap in use of those. 177, you're talking about that CS lead in the bot lane. It's also there in the top as RF Legendary spent a lot of time in this game teleporting around, trying to make Stand United saves. Keeps Renegades 1,000 gold up so far, but hopefully he continues to be tanky for the team as they get towards late game. Pyrene, Mash starting to do some good damage here along with Gate.
They do get engaged on, though, on TIP's side. If anybody drops, their DPS drops not as much as you would think, because they have so many members who are built for damage. So even if you pick off one with this composition, you're going to have to pick off at least another one before the fight really goes in your favor. Because they only have one tank here. They only have Ken on TIP's side.
Oh.
Ooh. Crumb stole it away.
Gets out safely. Sneaky Spider goes in. Had Remy there for a binding as well, so they're doing this power in numbers. They don't want to go around too willy-nilly. They don't seem to be going past that blue area, though, across the map. They need to start pushing their vision forward is what they're trying to do. Crumb's always a proponent of that with his sight stones.
Oh, wow.
All right, so Youmu's activated. Thought they might have been going for something a little tricky, but I guess not.
Move a little faster. Whoa!
Ouch.
This is going to become the Matrix very quickly.
Everybody just dodging.
Mash going for second item, rapid fire cannon. Just enforces his sieging build. Trinity Force. And then you can also hit a turret from almost out of range, is Corky, I believe.
Game has definitely slowed down quite a bit. Not seeing Renegades push as much pressure, or push as much of an advantage as they had earlier. Getting everybody resourced up. Dragons in 1:40. I wouldn't be surprised if that's actually the next time we start to see something happen. But there is a good vision line here. Pink Ward's pushed up for Renegades. They're just being very careful about their movements.
Yeah, TIP, they want to group up, and this is a 5-man squad. You can have Gate split push, use his ultimate to split push another wave on the other side of the map, and use TP to join the fight. But this is basically, you want a squad of people. You want all 4 of these guys to be grouped up in the mid lane, grouped up wherever you want to siege. Top lane right now looks like the prime place to be, but with Dragon up in a minute, you can't really give up control of it.
That stings. Crumb taking quite a few. He said that Deadman's plate should be coming in soon, but it might actually turn itself into a Riot Crystal Scepter before he has that.
Yeah, slow other people, so you're fast, you know, relatively. That's what's going to be. You throw out the Volatile Spiderling and you get that slow, it helps your team pick people off. It helps you land the charm. It helps you land the follow-up control.
There it is. So now they have that ability to start getting more and facilitate a lot more catches. Quite a few Lucidity boots here on the team of Impulse. Consistent of quite a bit of poking, and that's how they get more of it out. Ken actually misses a double flash coming in from Renegades, and they avoid what would have been a very bad fight for them in the mid lane.
Numbers advantage, but oh, here comes Alex.
He gets headbutted back. That actually wasn't in time. Whoa! Flash taunt coming from RF Legendary out of that Spirit Rush onto Alex. The fight's still happening. Tormented Soil locking down Ken with a binding there, and he may be the next one to go down. Summoner Heal comes out from Mash. They're trying to save him, and Proxen goes down as he flashes in. The rest of Impulse is running because they were not ready for that engage, and it looks like they're going to stave it off. 1 for 1. It looked a lot worse than it was for both teams.
Bad day to be a jungler. Everybody's just poking, throwing things out. Yeah. You have to soak a lot of this. But Proxen also gets picked off himself. RF, that was a really sweet arrival. He came in.
That was pretty cool.
Superhero entrance.
Just flying, swooping in, able to help the team. But you're right. Sometimes we see Nidalee players as well. Once that fight gets started and they're on a poke team, they'll change forms and say, that's my target, that's my kill, when still spearing is going to be the right answer.
Yeah, when you have Rod of Ages, it helps you dive in terms of you have more HP, but it's still a Nidalee. You're still very squishy.
Oh!
Only hit one person, though.
So he got the early taunt on Ken as well.
Yeah, it looked cool.
It looked great.
You hit Pyrene. But look, Gate also almost gets people up on the side here. That barrel almost hit Alex, and then Proxen going after Lod, but nope. It's so hard to actually keep a Callista locked down when you don't have hard CC. You're throwing this poke left and right. Yeah. You're just hoping that he jumps into it.
Unfortunate. We'll see if they can keep that head on tight for the next fight here. Crumbs. Looks like he'll be all right. Nobody wants to fight little spiders. It's scary. It's just scary. You don't want that.
Any spiders.
They're all over
little.
That Essence Reaver has been finished for Gate, but he goes right back for another BF sword. He's going to start putting out some big damage in these fights, and people will get deleted. It's not the tankiest team on that side of Renegades here, just really RF Legendary.
Exactly. When you hit the IE Essence Reaver Trinity 4 spike, you have 60% crit on Gangplank, so you're going to be critting more often than not. And he has the increased damage as well as the CDR, so it's a very, very powerful spot for Gangplank. And then his other items after that, you can go for Sterix if you want tankiness, right? You can go for Yomu's if you want to have a little bit more flat pen against a squishy team.
Yep.
So there's a lot of diversity in his build.
Just looking at this Renegades composition again, just trying to kind of figure out what it does, how it gets into fights. And look, oh, RF Legendary could have a bad time down here, but it doesn't look like he's going to get into a full fight with Gate. I was almost thinking like Alex Each in that Spirit Rush is like another Fates call if we just watched it, right? Or RF Legendary in Spirit Rush with him. So it's like even if they lost the Callista, they could still be making some of those plays.
Yeah.
It's hard to do that if you're not ahead.
Yeah. They have RF to come in as well. RF can get a taunt,
right?
But they didn't just enable Remy to have the playmaking. Lod has playmaking. Alex, Crumbs,
yeah.
RF, everybody.
They made sure it wasn't just the ones.
Exactly. Everybody on this team has a form of hard CC, has some type of crowd control. So when they go and they get vision control of an area, it's so difficult for TIP to take the gamble.
90% of the time they have.
Yeah, take the gamble, face check, and then you end up losing. Gate's gonna look for some poke here.
We just saw the damage he did. That's
Surprise!
a bit of the trick. There's the brush hide. Well, he knows he can win that one. RF really can't stand toe-to-toe, so the push is definitely in Gate's favor for what pressure will be present in a little bit here in the bot lane. That will have to be respected by Renegades, and it's going to have to be RF Legendary. The TP and Stand United is up here, so he'll stay there and unfortunately have to fight against Gate. He does not like that situation.
No, also Gate... Gate's running a, it's the typical Gangplank now. You go Grasp of the Undying, so you can actually apply it with your Q.
Yep.
It's full damage at the 3%, and you run Bandit from the middle tree. So every time you Q, you get 10 gold when you hit an enemy champion, because it counts as a melee attack. So you grasp them for 3% of your HP, and you also get gold from it.
Get that bank plank back in.
Yeah.
He's also got 275 gold, or CS, I should say, to his top lane. I hope he has more than 275 gold. 11.3k to 9.5 is the difference between that top lane. So quite a bit of gold that Gate's working with, and we really haven't seen that pressure come out completely in a fight.
Exactly, and as nothing's happening in this game, Gate is just getting more money for the CS that he's picking up because he's Gangplank. So he's up 2,000 gold himself, but that deficit is being covered by the mid lane here, where Alex is up over Pyrene.
Exactly what I was going to point out. Alex having a pretty good game for himself. 271 at 103.
Time to poke, but here's the TP from behind. They're going to try to flank.
That's quite far back. Remy goes in. They're going to have Ken. Is that everything they want in the beginning? Gate is going to be coming in as well. Where did Gate come in? Towards that top side, and it looks like he's on to RF Legendary and Alex Each. A lot of damage there. The 80 carries mids have gotten kills right now. Alex Each looking at Pyrene. We saw Lod take down another one. What a fight coming in. Gangplank does get taken down. Gate's not able to prove too much use in that fight, I should say.
That is how you approach a fight with linear skill shots. All directions. Collapse on them. They don't have multiple frontliners. All they have is Ken. And that's going to be Baron now for Renegades.
What a hit by Renegades. It looked like it would be just a little too far off with that teleport, but it's where they walked Impulse in perfectly. Yep. Crumbs, he's good to go. Look at the smile on their faces. They are very happy with that situation, and something they've been waiting for.
But this is such a good approach to this fight. Crumbs from the right, then you have Alex coming in from the left, and then you have RF from the top side of this fight. It's just a great approach, because only one person is going to take damage from Pyrene. He's going to throw out a linear skill shot, and it's going to hit one. So you're minimizing the effect that this Varus is going to have. And then they just play it out well. They played that as they were 5 Then you have Alex coming in from the left, and then you have RF from the top side of this fight. It's just a great approach, because only one person is going to take damage from Pyrene. He's going to throw out a linear skill shot, it's just going to hit one. So you're minimizing the effect that this Varus is going to have. And then they just play it out well. They played that as they were 5, they were grouped up, and then they just approached them from all sides to have multiple skirmishes that they ended up winning, because CC, single target CC, is so valuable in small skirmishes.
Nothing Impulse was ready for what it looked like. Very close Infinity Edge as well for Gate here to come out. Maybe kind of the cap to what he needs to really put down some impact damage in these fights. Muramon has been finished up as well for Pyrene. But RF Legendary and the rest of the team not wasting any time. Right back in the face of Impulse here. Now to the bottom tier 2 turret. 7 seconds on to Dragon, so that should be the pullback. They take for themselves as well. If they want it, it'd be Dragon number 1 for Renegades. So not bad to get that under their belt,
Whoa.
Whoa, Remy over the wall. I'd be very surprised if anybody else can clear that gap as well. Only Alex Each and Remy now. Gate's gonna get a kill for himself. This is where we see that damage start to come in. That's Proxen now picking up a kill for himself. And Renegades, a little strong-headed there.
Yeah, nobody saw Crumbs' flash. I think Crumbs wanted to make it over that wall. It may have just been a flash cocoon, but it ended up not being of too much help to his team. Renegades, they may just pick up first Dragon, but they might lose more.
He's down. Go, Lod. Run for your life.
Oh.
Give the spider. Looks like Mash carries a broom with him at all times. Takes down Crumbs. Smacks him away. Sweeps him out. And now, Impulse kind of on the run here down the mid lane. We'll see what they can grab off this. The last fight came big off mid when Renegades could engage. This time Renegades is waiting for their team, so this should be pickups for Impulse.
Yep, siege these turrets, group up, pop the Yomus and get that extra damage on it. That's going to be a turret for Impulse. And now they're just 1,000 gold behind again, despite the Baron buff going over to Renegades. And that's the best part of that fight for TIP. They get a lot of those Baron buffs off, and they don't lose much. You waste the time on it. They aren't going to be able to take mid-turret without a really good push here, because Baron buff has about 1 or 2 waves left in it now. Right here, Remy is going to go over, and okay. Crumbs didn't quite make it over, and then he got rooted by Pyrene in the extension. And they are actually going to take this turret, so they make use of that one last wave that they're going to get, and now the Baron buff drops off.
Just learning today that Fate's call range does not equal flash range. Actually should have been something we knew. But you got to try. It would have been. We wonder what would have happened if it did work, because then Crumbs would have been able to repel, kind of deter a few things in the fight. So what if? A big what if, and it didn't happen. We're moving on. 33 minutes on this clock. 2,000 gold here, even in favor of Renegades. Impulse hasn't been losing too big of chunks of the game. They still have ways they can get back in here. Not going to be too hard for him. Proxen was very big in the early game, trying to stay and give pressure all around the map.
Oh, and the poke composition just gets so annoying. If you land anything onto Lod or Alex Siege, and even RF is going to become a little bit squishier as time goes on for these guys as they get those items like a Void Staff, and you also, for Gate, just use barrels on him, right? Ignore some of that armor. But Renegades, I definitely think that they have a much easier execution plan, because all they have to do is show up at objectives that are contested, sweep out the vision, and then this poke composition, they want to get to the objective first, because you want the other team to run at you, and you basically
That's what I was just going to say. The fact that Renegades did get that Dragon, was good to stop for, because if you fight a poke team at Dragon, it's one of the things that they want to do. However, we do remember chat talking about 5th Dragons, poke teams, and whatnot, and if that's your only way to win, you can actually put yourself in a hole by trying to get the 5th Dragon, and that fight is very detrimental if you lose it.
Push down the mid lane, but Gate has to go answer Alex in the top lane. Might not be good for Gate.
Didn't actually do too much damage there. Now with his Zanya's on. Also has that to buy himself time if the team needed to get there, but Alex is now... He's going down. Mash was out for blood. I was just wondering who was gonna make it over the wall first to get him.
And the team, Renegades, they're gonna shove up the mid lane, make sure that these waves can't be immediately pushed and counter pushed all the way back to the base. But this might just be top turret going down. And Crumbs home. Whoa! Oh, you have 8 legs, so you have 4 left feet.
He juked himself.
Right into it.
He had the dodge. Unfortunate.
There's probably a lot of feet to kind of take into consideration. If one isn't doing the right thing,
All 8 have to go in the same order, or the same way.
tripping over himself.
Unfortunate.
I have 2, and I have trouble with that. But Gate, he does get top turret, and he's going after that tier 2 as well. He's going to get it.
This wave actually was pushed against Impulse's turret in that top lane perfectly. It was pushed by Mash. And Impulse seems to like have these things working on clockwork now as they go through it. Everything is working in their favor, whether it was planned or not. But they are able to take advantage of the situation. Now onto the inhibitor turret. RF Legendary milling about saying, I'm big, I'm tanky, look at me. That's right.
Alex
Takes down Proxim with the rest of the team. Ken in a bad spot here, but Remy's not going to be able to put out any more bindings being dead. RF Legendary out. He gets a big one from Mash, and he goes down as well. That's a shutdown sword you can see on the right side of the screen. So more gold for Mash now, and they are pressuring the base very hard. Lod forced to heal. Lod takes a shot, and Parlay says Gate takes him down. Another shutdown on the board there. Tit picking up some big money and big objectives.
And they're going to be able to move up to this top one. They have a wave that's about to crash into it. And they're going to be able to take 2 inhibitor turrets off of that, and possibly 2 inhibitors. These death timers, they're already at 40 seconds for Lod.
My word, what a gold rush for Impulse right now. If they just don't end the game here, they're coming back with very big items. A 4-kill shutdown, a 3-kill shutdown as well spread across the team, and inhibitor turrets to boot.
Yeah, they ended up getting a great pick on Alex in the top lane, and then that snowballed this because the death timers at 35 minutes, they're much longer than they used to be. This is pretty much peak time, and Alex was max level as well. And that also affects the time that you're out of the game.
Yep, see this fight one more time.
The jump in, he gets taunted, and this was because Alex was back. Alex had home guards, immediately rushes in, but then the kite backwards here, and Gate finally shows up, and he actually gets a really good barrel off there onto RF to get him low enough so that Mash can finish it, and then just Gate wanted blood at that point. Blocks him at the end.
We flip out of the replay because there's some love for Baron right now. 12-13, Zyrene. We're getting some damn good games today. Very, very close. Teams are breaking bases, and then it seems like it slows down a bit, and the other team gets a chance to get a punch back in.
Yeah, this new TIP squad, they look like it was just back and forth. They were trying to find their footing here. Gate in a new position. Pyrene, Proxin now in the lineup. Figuring out how Mash wants to play the game alongside them and what's going to work.
Yep.
That's going to be 4th dragon here for TIP. Like you said, it could be that 5th dragon, Riv. They could be going for that later.
We wanted that. We heard Pyrene activate the Youmuu's Ghostblade to get down there quicker. The team's trying to make moves and get back in the right spot without giving up anything. Here they gave up a little ground. You see them moving towards mid. But that only means Renegades can now ward towards the Baron side. Nothing that's going to tilt this game too much. 38 minutes on the clock. It's going to be hard for Renegades to do anything where they have to stand still, which means Baron or even a Dragon being up is going to be difficult.
Yeah, and you also have the timer of Gate. Gate's doing a lot of damage. He's critting minions for 1,000 right now.
They need to get another one of those TP plays in. Find a way to dip some wards in as Crumbs will get in, get out safely, use them a little bit later like we saw in the mid lane.
RF is very key in how they engage these fights. If RF is able to get a multi-man taunt, he's going to be in a good spot. But Mash now has Mercurial Scimitar, Pyrene, Cleanse. This is really difficult. And it looks like what's going to happen for Ken is Ken's going to get a Crucible.
Don't! Everybody was peeling back. They're like, wait, no, we can hit this!
Stupid, sexy Pyrene.
Oh, man.
But yeah, Ken, he's a big cow. Still, you miss him.
You're not wrong.
Yeah. Gate, though, continuing to farm. He's 130 CS up. This guy fills.
Wow.
He's got the highest gold in the game. Welcome to Gangplank. This is why you don't leave him open.
Almost 20 gold alone.
Yeah.
Good lord. We talked about it early game. The pressure put around the map and plays that were trying to be made from Renegades. Kept pulling RF Legendary out of the top. But as a Shen, we're not saying this is bad. As a Shen, he can still be a tank. He still provided amazing plays. It's up to Gate to use all that free time now to really put some power down for Impulse.
Yeah, it basically becomes, it's a zero-sum game, right? If I'm throwing out my, or sorry, not a zero-sum game. It's the economy of it. If I'm throwing out my ultimate, how much am I getting from it in comparison to him just staying there? And so it goes back and forth, and RF didn't get a lot of value out of all of his globals that he was using earlier. If any kill had come up in each use of the ulti, then he would have been in a good spot. If he used his TP,
Right.
great, because he got Gates TP really early on with those ganks from Crumbs. And he still wasn't able to make anything happen in that bot lane because they were able to get away from those ganks. And that just set him up to get slowly and slowly further behind.
The game of dictating one or the other, Baron or this mid push. Spread out, gotta be careful. Axe-Ish is a little far away from the team, but there's the flash forward. They try to go. They missed a flash already, but they still try. Almost pushing themselves too far is Renegades, and Impulse now looks to engage. Spooky Ghost goes out. Mash gets the cleanse on. He's gonna be safe for where he's positioned, but they are still tagging and still running. Renegades down. Renegades trying to kite the fight, but it's not gonna work. Now they're onto Alex-Ish and onto RF Legendary. He is gonna be a tank and just taunt away. But they should be able to pick up Alex here. They should be able to pick up Baron or the turrets when they go down the mid lane. They have a huge wave to pick up here and might use bodies just to take that second tier with Ken.
There's a minute death timer on Alex-Ish right now. He has 60 seconds that he's out of the game. They don't have a minion wave in the mid lane just yet, but they can go for pushing this bottom, get the mid inhib, get the top
So mid inhib just
They
spawned.
have so many options here.
Mid inhib just spawned, so they're spreading the resources perfectly to make sure both go down. RF Legendary is going to be forced to watch here. The closest time is 15 seconds onto Crumbs, and that's not somebody that's going to push you out of the base right away.
Remy comes up, but Remy doesn't have much to do here. Binding's
Right,
come
Remy's up.
For that last inhib, there's 30 seconds on Alex, but no, they might just go for the base here with all this AD they have.
These games, neck and neck, down to the wire, and then the last fight means your entire base, 2 in a row. Now Impulse trying to do this to Renegades and look to go 2 and 2 here in the second week. They're looking to take it down. It does open up, and it looks like the Nexus is taking the damage necessary. 42 minutes coming up on the clock, 17-13. Impulse takes down Renegades.
And the new guys on the squad.